Now, at time 0, the representative consumer expects that life will go on like always. So, he or she expects that this will be the same for all periods, so you have y0 minus I0 times 1 over 1 minus 1 over 1 plus r. Just for min, where does this come from? It comes from something we did yesterday, right? If you have this thing, power s, this is 1 over 1 minus 1 over 1 plus r. And that, of course, you don't even have to translate it into anything, right? It cancels out. And what you get is consumption in the first period is just output minus investment and output, and you just plug in these values from above. Now, the next question is, what is B1? Well, B1 is 1 plus R, B0 plus Y0 minus consumption minus investment. And guess what? This is 0 by assumption, and this is 0 because of that result. And so, what comes out is B1 equals 0 as well. So this is a situation where the representative consumer doesn't expect any shock, right? In period 0, this person representing the entire economy thinks that life will go on as it always was. Is there something doing? Is there anything I... Okay. Did I pronounce your name correctly? Doing. All right, good. Okay. So this is a representative consumer who expects life to continue as it used to be, right? This is like, you have these movies when there's a giant rock dropping on the earth, but and then usually those movies start the day before, and people have their lives and everything's working smoothly, and they do not expect anything to happen. And so, consumption, people just consume their output minus investment. Output is given here, investment is given there, and there's no need to accumulate foreign assets or foreign liabilities because of this. And now we have period 1. And in period 1, something unexpected happens. Namely, the capital stock all of a sudden decreases. And the question is, how does the story go on? So let me continue here at time t equals 1. That's the shock period. That's going to be the idea. It's the shock period. Good. So, so what is the capital stock in period 1? Well, the capital stock in period 1 is K1 equals phi K. Right? Because that's the giant rock dropping on the machines. So it's and the question is, what is output and what is investment and what is consumption? In fact, output and investment is not so hard. Consumption is kind of the tricky thing. That's the thing that... Does anybody want to give it a try? That's fine. Then do the y and the I. Give the solution, and then if it's correct, then I think this depends also. Terrific. Perfect. Okay, so that's really cool. I mean, this is, thank you. So this, okay. So this is output in period 1, and since you have less capital, you produce less, right? There's nothing you can do. So since phi is smaller than 1, you're pre-multiplying the capital stock, the steady-state capital stock, by something that's smaller than 1, so you produce less. And now here comes the crucial thing. You want to go back to the optimal capital stock. So you want to have, in period 2, you want to go back to this level, right? So let me just give you the details, but the equation is correct. You want to have K2 minus 1 minus delta K1. Now K2 is equal to K, and that's equal to alpha over R plus delta to the power 1 over 1 minus alpha. And this thing here is phi K. And so you have alpha R plus delta to the power 1 over 1 minus alpha minus 1 minus delta phi alpha over R plus delta to the power 1 over 1 minus alpha. And that's exactly the equation that I'm doing presented. Okay, super. Now, important thing, yeah, wait a minute. Is this thing greater than that thing or not? Right? So the question is, before we turn to consumption, the question is I1 greater than I0? Now, intuitively, what would you say? Do these guys invest more in period 1 than they did in the preceding period, or do they invest less? Or do they invest the same? They invest more. Why is that? Speak up, then I.
Because we have the reduction in capital, so we need to get, if we want to get a steady state again, so we need to invest more.
Exactly, right? There's a part of the capital stock was destroyed, so you rebuild it. So it's not just there's depreciations going on, so, but on top of that. So can we show that? Well, we can show that is 1 minus delta phi K, is that greater or smaller, is that greater than delta k, and let me stick to the script because never improvise in front of class. So that is of course true when 1 minus delta phi is greater than delta, and this is of course true when 1 minus delta is greater than 1 minus delta phi, and this is correct since phi is smaller than 1. Right, so in fact, right, we're shifting the delta to the left hand side, we're shifting the 1 minus delta phi to the right hand side, and we should show that's correct. Right, and of course you could argue that's obvious. I mean, this is not something that we need sophisticated math for, and I realize I need to put on this. Sorry about